Okay, we need to be on page 25. We're going to pick up with problem number 7. Problem number 7 is -4 square roots of 160 minus 2 square roots of 90. And what we need to do first is we need to find the prime factors of 160 and the prime factors of 90, and we're going to rewrite it where it looks like this. So when you refactor, or when you prime factor 160, it is 2 to the 5th power, but I wrote all of the 2's times 5. When I factor 190, it is 2 times 3 squared, but I wrote them out, times another 5. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to simplify by grouping. So I have 2 sets of 2's here. So it's going to be -4 times 2, and remember I drew 2 circles. And that's going to be the square root of the remainder of 2 times the remainder of 5. 2 times 5 is going to be a 10. Remember your order of operations. So this is going to be 2 times 2 first. You have to do that part first. That's going to be a 4. Then you multiply it by a -4. So 4 times -4 is a -16 square roots of 10. All right, now let's look at the next side. So for the next side, I have a pair of 3's. So I'm going to recopy the -2 times 3. I drew 1 circle, that's to the 1st power. And again, on this side, I have a remainder of 2 and a remainder of 5. So I'm going to multiply those back together, and that is going to be the square root of 10. So a -2 times a +3 is a -6. We have like radicals, so we're just going to add these two numbers here. A -16 and a -6 is going to be a negative answer. -16 and 6 more negatives is going to be a total of -22. And don't forget your like radical, the square root of 10. And that is going to be the answer, and please box that in. Okay, let's take a look at number 8. So for number 8, we are going to have this problem right here, which is off the screen. There we go. 4 square roots of 45 plus 3 square roots of 245. Remember, the first thing you need to do is you need to prime factor this and prime factor whatever is underneath the square root symbol. So this is what we're going to end up with here. 45 broken down is 3 times 3 times 5. 245 broken down is 5 times 7 times 7. Don't forget to write your numbers on the outside. Okay, so I have a set of 3's. I'm going to recopy that 4. I drew 1 circle around the 3. That is just going to be a remainder of 5. So 4 times 3 is 12, and then I'm going to recopy that remainder of 5. Let's do the other side. For the other side, I have a pair of 7's. I drew a circle around a pair of 7's. So it's going to be 3 times 7. I drew 1 circle. This is to the 1st power. The only thing remaining underneath the square root symbol is a 5. So I'm going to multiply these together. So now I have a +21 square root of 5. So for my final answer, I have 12 positives here and I have 21 positives there. I'm just going to combine them all. So 12 plus 21 is going to be a total of 33 square roots of 5. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at number 12. Number 12 has 3 pieces to this combining problem. We have a couple of positive pieces and we have 1 negative piece here. So again, you need to prime factor 8, prime factor 96, and prime factor 24. And what we're going to do is we're going to break this into 3 columns and just separate them and then combine them for our final answer. So 8 is 2 to the 3rd power, 2 times 2 times 2. I have a set of 2's right here. So I'm going to recopy the first 2, take out the 2 that I drew 1 circle around, and I have a remainder of 2. Multiply back up, that's going to be 4 square roots of 2. Let's take a look at the middle column. The middle column, 96, is 2 to the 5th power times 3. Notice how I grouped my 2's. I can very easily see the pairs I have here. So it's going to be 4 times 2. I drew 2 circles, so a little 2 on top. And then I have a remainder of 2 and a remainder of 3. I need to multiply that back up. That is going to turn into a 6. Do your order of operations first. I have to do 2 squared, which is 4. Then multiply it by that 4. So that's going to turn into 16 square roots of 6. Okay, so our final piece down here, we have a set of 2's. So notice there's a negative out front. That negative is just going to be carried through my work. I had one circle of 2's. And again, these need to multiply back up to the square root of 6. So if you notice, I have a root 2, a root 6, and a root 6. So the only 2 things I can combine are these 2 guys right here. I cannot combine that. That's going to be in my final answer. So 16 positives and 2 negatives are going to simplify to 14 positives and write your square root of 6. Since I could not combine anything to this, this just gets tagged on at the end. That 4 is positive, so I'm just going to draw a plus sign. So it is 4 square roots of 6 plus 4 square roots of 2. I'm sorry, 14 square roots of 6 plus 4 square roots of 2. Let's look at this next part. So we're going to do problem 13. And on problem 13, we're going to break it into 3 columns, and we're going to go ahead and factor down 8, factor down 45, and factor down 200. So on this first problem, I've got a group of 2's. I'm going to recopy that 5 times a 2. I drew one circle. And I have a remainder of just a 2 on the inside of the square root symbol. So look, a negative 5 times a positive 2 is going to be a negative 10. Okay, let's take a look at the next piece. So for the next piece in here, I've got a set of 3's. I'm going to recopy that 2. Take out that 3, and this time I have a remainder of 5. So all I need to do for this middle column is multiply 2 times 3. So that's going to be a positive 6 square roots of 5. All right, for my final piece, there's actually 2 things I can circle here. I can circle a pair of 2's, and I can also circle a pair of 5's. So I'm going to recopy the 3. I'm going to take out that 2 that I drew one circle around. I'm going to take out that 5 that I drew one circle around, and the only thing that's remaining is the 2. So I'm going to multiply all these numbers together. I'm going to do 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6, so that's a 6 right there. 6 times 5 is a positive 30. So again, just like we did on the previous problem, these 2 can be combined because they have the same radical sign. This square root of 5, that cannot be combined with anything, but it is going to be in our final answer. So a negative 10 and a positive 30, of course, is just 20. So it's going to be 20 square roots of 2. And then we are going to add 6 square roots of 5. So let's take a look at 17. 17, you are going to do this problem on your own. You're going to show your teacher for credit, and that's going to wrap up this lesson.